All right, welcome. Thank you all for joining me here in the webinar presentation today. This is great. Thanks so much for joining us. We are super excited to bring you the next big thing in HP latex. Grimco has been a distributor to the sign and graphic market since 1875, and our main goal is to help our customers grow their business. This printer, which we're going to unveil today, is definitely one of those pieces of equipment that it can help you grow your business, succeed in markets where things are unattainable or not easy to do in the past. So without any further ado, I want to go ahead and drop this virtual curtain and give you the first look at the brand new HP Latex R530. Exciting printer that we have here in our Chicago demo facility. With me today, equally as exciting, I got Chris Cohen here from Grimco's hardware software sales team. We're going to run through a presentation, going through and showing you all the cool features, benefits of the new HP Latex R530. If you guys have questions as we're going through things, please go ahead and drop them into chat. Or not chat, Q&A. See, usually Chris is on the computer side of things, and he's handling it all behind the scenes. So, but please drop them into Q&A, and happy to have some of our experts answer them for you live, get all the questions and things that you're looking for in this brand new printer. Well, Chris, you ready to rock into this?
This is exciting. My wife wasn't mad enough at me, so I left her with the kids just to come and see this printer today live from the demo center.
You should have brought the kids. Kids love printers. Could have made some stickers for them. Would have been great.
They break enough stuff at my house. So.
Well, awesome. So what do we got here, Chris? What's the exciting buzz on this printer?
Well, as you can see, first thing I noticed right off the bat with the HP Latex R530 is the footprint. It's called an all-in-one for a reason. It can do flat sheets or rolled stock, both. And if you look at the footprint, if I walk around to the back, these are removable tables. So for people that have wanted for years to be able to print direct to substrate, now you have the option if space is a concern or an issue for you.
So the R series, the HP R, the precursors of this machine were always the HP R1000, the HP R2000. The R for that always stood for rigid. Now we're talking rigid, rolled, all in one machine. The R530 is the next evolution in HP Latex. Give you that that ability to print rolled media as well as rigid material. So I'm loading in my Coroplast sheets here. Hopefully you guys got me in gallery view. You can see my other camera printing over the print zone here. The rigid substrate is going to roll right through the printer. Let me hit a spotlight on this other camera. There we go. So the rigid substrate is rolling right through the printer on the conveyor belt. Ink is being deposited. And because this is HP Latex ink, water-based ink formula that dries through a high heat curing process, what's happening inside this tunnel here is that water carrier is evaporating, the resin copolymer is encapsulating the pigment and then bonding it to that substrate. And so what I wind up with is a direct to print rigid board that has instant throughput, instantly dry ink, no hand feel. The benefits of HP Latex ink is it's a very thin film on here, water-based, so I'm not smelling fumes that's coming off my printer. Very environmentally sustainable print technology on here.
Yeah, and we'll talk about more of the statistics later with the printer, but right out of the gate, 5x10s are not an issue with this printer, up to 150 pounds on boards, as well as rolled goods, up to 121 pounds on rolled stock as well. So this printer is going to do both for you very efficiently. It also carries over one of the breakthrough technologies with HP Latex is the white ink technology. So they have taken that same white ink technology and put it on here. And Neil, what are some of the advantages of the HP Latex White?
Well, so the cool thing about HP Latex White is compared to other, let's call it out here, say the bad name, UV technology. With Latex White, I get a true non-yellowing white. HP Latex has had a system in place with latex, which is now going on 16 years into the graphics and signage market, where they have end-user replaceable print heads. So the way that HP can avoid some of the hazards or problems with white ink is because the end-user replaceable print heads, when I'm not printing with white, which as sign and graphic shops, we don't print on white that often, we're usually printing onto a white substrate, I can remove the white print heads from the machine entirely. My white print heads, I'm printing on Coroplast signs here, I'm going to print in some banner material later. They don't require white ink. I pull my print heads out of the machine. They sit inside this offline rotating chamber. The ink inside here is circulated. Every 20 minutes, this chamber is going to rotate. The machine itself can circulate the white ink inside of here. I'm not purging or flushing ink the entire time I'm printing and not using my white. Other technologies, you run that risk of, hey, you got to constantly purge and flush ink, otherwise your white system dies on you. I talked to so many customers who are using a UV technology for direct printing to boards, and they don't use their white because it died years ago, and it just became such a maintenance nightmare for something they weren't using that frequently. I got a question for you, Chris.
Yep.
What is an application a customer would want to use an amazing white ink system?
Take your pick. I mean, one of the big thing on the sales side, when it comes to applications with white, people would always play the chicken or the egg, right? Should I get the white ink printer and try to find work for it? Or should I get the white ink work, outsource it, and then bring a printer in? Well, now with the on-demand white, you can do all those white ink. So printing on clear, say acrylic, for example, for rigid, or clear for window, second surface.
Static clings or decals.
Exactly.
Yep.
Clear material, both rigid or rolled goods,
Yep.
is the number one reason. The other thing is you can do the sandwich modes, different. Explain that more to people that don't do that.
So HP Latex White, you can use it basically 5 different ways. You can print white by itself. So imagine I'm printing on a black piece of PVC and I want to add white text to it. Great application is, or you see this a fair amount, is like somebody's having a wedding and they want to call out the list of names. They want to have a real scripted font, really intricate, detailed things that you wouldn't want to cut out of white vinyl and then apply to PVC. You can just print your white right onto that black PVC. Makes for a really sharp, amazing display because you're not having to do all that cutting and weeding of intricate, swirly fonts and things like that. The second application is an underflood, where basically same, printing on black PVC, but I want to put color on top of that black PVC. I can underbase it with white ink, put the color on top. Really amazing. Second surface would be like you're talking about, acrylic. I want to put my color down first and my white on top. Now here's where it gets real crazy, is you can print 3-layer or 5-layer. So 3-layer printing is basically the same image for both layers with a white opacity in between. And so that's good for a backlit application. Somebody who's going to be printing a menu board or maybe an outdoor monument sign, you can print it first surface or second surface on a piece of clear film or clear rigid material. Color white color, it looks great when it's front lit from the day, but then when it has a light shining through it at night, it still looks good. So even if that light is coming from inside the source, fairly close, really bright LED lights, that 3-layer print mode is still going to not make it look washed out when it's backlit or front lit. Quite amazing. And then the 5-layer printing is quite amazing, where you can do basically push-pull signage. You can have an image, again, printed on a piece of clear material, printed in 5 layers. Color white, a black layer, white again, and then color. It'll have one image facing one way, a different image facing the other way. And this is great for an application where you're, hey, these are our store hours, come on into our retail establishment, and on the way out, the customer's seeing a different message. Thanks for visiting, we'll see you again soon. Really kind of neat in those retail store window type displays. So.
Yeah, it gives you that opportunity to get that business that you've been looking for. It's funny, as everybody knows that does signage, whether the vinyl is on the outside or the inside of the window, it can make a matter for permitting or for how you set up the job. So it gives you a lot more flexibility. Plus, with the way that the white ink circulates, it allows you to not have that waste associated with white ink. Because white ink has heavy sedimentation, the ink has to constantly be moved, and HP has set up a system not only with the print head being rotated, but the ink flow within the system, within the ink cartridge itself, going into the machine, into another bag, and constantly being shifted around to keep that sedimentation from happening that's associated with white ink.
Yep, no, absolutely. And the other big part of latex white, the big selling point is non-yellowing white. So a lot of these things are used in windows where they're exposed to sunlight. Because we're dealing with latex white, it's a water carrier with a pigment suspended in that water carrier. It doesn't need to have additives to it like UV ink has. UV needs photoactivators. Those photoactivators are yellow in nature. They add a blue dye to give you the appearance of white, but any exposure to outdoor elements, it eventually yellows. Just aging of UV ink, it winds up turning yellow over time. With latex ink, you get the truest, most beautiful white, gives you amazing print quality, but it stays that way. It doesn't yellow over time. And then it's on demand, and I don't waste it when I'm not using it. So it really opens up some of those higher value jobs. Lets me do things that I couldn't do in the past. So,
right.
Chris, I think we beat white ink printing into the ground. Really amazing. So I wanted to talk about it though, because we're not going to show it. One of the things I hear from customers a lot when we put on these webinar presentations is they want to see the machines run. And so that's what I've been wanting to do here, is have this machine run for you guys and see what I can do behind me. I want to try to give you another little circle tour, because one of the big selling points with this R530, compared to its predecessors, the R1 and the R2000s, the big selling point is its small footprint. So this machine can fit into a fairly small shop. So here we are in the exit side of the machine as the work's coming out of here. The side-to-side distance, I don't have large end caps on either side of it. It allows me to really squeeze it in. These tables are removable. I'm going to pop them off here in just a few minutes when I go to switch over to my roll-to-roll printing format. They fold down, keep out of the way. So I can print on a 5x10 sheet, a 4x8 sheet workflow, or I can do pre-cut sheets as well, as I'm doing here. And it's literally walking in from the front to the back and keep feeding that work into my machine.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, these tables are very robust, plus they have beveled rollers. Makes it easy to slide material around, again, up to 150 pounds. We've seen some other manufacturers attempt to set up a printer in this same size, but they were really limited on what weight and capacity they could do. That's not an issue with this.
So speaking of which, let's give some specs. What is the weight restriction of the belt? How heavy of a board can I put on here?
150 pounds on the board, 5 foot by 10 foot print area, which is not an issue. For the rolled material, 121 pounds. So pretty heavy, robust material.
151 pounds for a sheet. What kind of material are we talking there? What is that? Really thick acrylic?
I don't even know if we sell a lot of substrates that are that heavy.
A sheet that's 150 pounds, yeah, that's
Right.
a digital printable substrate. Right?
Correct, yeah.
I know I wouldn't want to lift it. I'd definitely ask for some help. So.
Yeah.
And then the weight restriction for the rolled media?
121 pounds.
120 pounds. So like an 18 ounce, 63 inch wide, 18 ounce scrim banner, no problem for the weight, the weight holding on this?
Correct.
Question comes up, how thick you print? 2 inches thick. So again, sign grade materials up to 2 inches thick. I could pull my ceiling tiles out of my ceiling here, run them right through my ceiling tiles, print amazing with HP Latex, by the way. If anybody interested in that, you got a market. Actually, all I really need is a design. I got tons of ceiling tile. Love to print them all. So, 2 inch thick media, 151 pounds for boards, 121 for rolled media.
Yeah, it's going to cover, so just in terms of rigid media, when you're thinking of rigid media, obviously Coroplast, PVC, acrylic, aluminum composite material, or Max Metal, for example, is a great product. Easy to cut, easy to print.
Yep. And, oh, look at this, Chris. I got tons of those fabulous substrates right over here on my sample pile ready to go.
I've already stolen some. Put them in my bag.
You filled up your bag? Nice. So, Duritex polystyrene, great substrate for printing on here. That plastic content, that styrene really makes for some great display properties.
I heard Grimco sells good polystyrene.
We do have some pretty quality styrene. Your foam boards, PVCs. The great thing about direct print to these substrates is the finishing. Again, comparing it against the other technologies out there for direct printing on rigid substrate, UV tends to crack and chip when you go to do that post-print finishing. With HP Latex, I'm getting no cracking and chipping whatsoever. You can bend, flex, fold this all day long, and I'm not going to get any cracking or chipping out there. Anybody that owns a UV printer is probably cringing in their seat right now. If you did this with a UV print, I'd have snowflakes of ink falling off onto the ground. With latex, I mean, it's a water-based ink formula, resin copolymer bonded to that substrate, scratch resistant, not going to fall off during my post-print finishing that I have to go with it. You're doing any type of acrylic printing. You got to then get that nice polished edge on that acrylic. You don't want your ink chipping off around the edges. You're starting over with a fresh sheet.
Plus, no smell. Other than Neil and myself, there's no odor coming around this general work area. So, latex, very eco-friendly ink, Green Guard Gold certified. So for those that have hospitals, schools, eco-friendly businesses that you're dealing with, latex is a good solution to give them an eco-friendly ink and output.
Yeah. And I always think eco-friendly, it's less about the stuff in the world. I always like to think everything I print winds up in a museum at some point. It's going to stick around forever. The reality is everything we print winds up in a dumpster or a landfill at some point. But for me, the environmentally friendly nature of HP Latex is the shop that I work in. I don't want to go home at the end of the day and have my shirt stink and my wife yell at me telling me I smell like a print shop. With HP Latex, that water carrier, that water-based ink formula, there's no odor and fumes coming off of this machine at all. So it really is.
We should stop for a second too, Neil. Do we have any questions that need to be answered live from our team in the background?
There are some good questions that people have been asking. Julie and I, our fingertips are, keyboards are smoking.
Nice. How you doing today, Dave?
I am well, thank you. All right, I got a couple of them. Number one, maximum thickness that it may print on.
2 inches. 2 inch thickness.
Excellent. Thank you. Can you successfully print onto magnet?
Magnetic printing. Oh, glad you asked.
I just happen to have one right here, Dave. Thanks for asking. The cool thing is you can not only successfully print to magnet, but you can print to 030 magnet in a rolled form. Magnet is tricky for two reasons. First off, it's very expensive. People don't like to waste a lot of that expensive magnet material. When you're doing a traditional roll printer, it needs to stick to non-ferrous parts, aluminum parts, not metal parts. Because I'm loading my rolled media onto a belt, running a roll of magnet up here, I can have that leading edge right inside my curing module, only wasting a few inches of the material as opposed to a few feet. But then the other tricky part is everyone loves to print on the thick stuff, the 030 magnet. Magnum Magnetics is one of our vendor partners for rolled digitally printable magnet. They make about 7 different varieties of magnet to print on my traditional latex roll-to-roll machines. Even the Canon Colorado machines now, they cannot accept an 030 thickness. The HP R530, I can print 030 magnet all day long. So it gives your customer that high pull strength that they want from a magnet, but then that beautiful body that it has to it as well. Great digital print quality on the front side, and scratch resistant. So I don't need to apply a lamination. I can get an outdoor durability of about a 3-year expected outdoor durability with the ink on here. Really great, perfect solution for printing magnet.
Yeah.
How was that for a short answer, Dave?
That was awesome. 2 more questions. One easy one that's leading into what you guys are doing. How many print heads does it have?
A whole bunch. So we have a couple
6 or 8, I can't remember.
No, I got this one covered. Again, I'm going to answer it real short and concise. So with HP Latex, there's a couple things happening here. So HP, through its evolution of the development of latex ink technology, which again, 16 years. This essentially is generation 4 of HP Latex, but they have a thing called Optimizer. So Optimizer goes down before your ink chemistry, before your ink droplets, and it pins the ink to the material. Basically, it's an ionically charged particle, clear fluid, that holds that ink droplet in place. So you have one print head for Optimizer, and then I have a 6-color printer. So I have CMYK, light cyan, light magenta. Those are paired together, and I have 2 print heads for each one of my 6 colors. So we're up to 1 Optimizer, 2 cyan and black, 2 yellow magenta, and then 2 light cyan, 2 light magenta. Then I have another print head in there for what's called overcoat. And so overcoat is what makes this ink scratch resistant, gives it an outdoor durability. Doesn't have any additional UV protection, but it makes it a scratch resistant coating. That's what makes this machine a generation 4 HP Latex. So folks out there that have a 300 series, a 100 series HP Latex printer, 500 series,
even. Yep.
that overcoat existed, it was just mixed in with the ink chemistry. So now with the Gen 4 printers, what HP's done is separated that overcoat, which lowered the overall curing temperatures, but then it put more rocks in the box. So the magenta ink of my Gen 3 printer versus the magenta ink of my Gen 4 printer, I now have more pigment-rich fluid inside there. Lowered the curing temperatures, allows me to print direct to rigid substrates, heat-sensitive substrates, as well as faster print speeds with more ink going down at the exact same time.
Yeah, I should mention too, we haven't even mentioned this, when we're talking about print heads with HP Latex, you're talking about user changeable print heads. Most people, when you hear a print head needs replaced on a printer, you're doing 2 things. You're calling a technician and you're pulling your credit card out because it is not cheap. So we're going to show you the user changeable print heads. Neil, how long do they take to change out?
Chris, even a salesman can get it done in about 30 seconds.
I agree because I am a salesman and I have changed one in 30 seconds.
Yep,
So.
no, really fast. Actually, I got a cool little thing I want to hold up here to the camera. This is fun. This will tell a whole story history of HP Latex. So 831 are the print heads that existed in the Gen 3 printers. Cool little nozzle technology. Ink goes in here, it comes out here, microscopically spray painting across my substrate. The 836s are the new print head technology. Looks real similar. I mean, it's same architecture, same build quality in there, until you turn them on their side. You can see that the 836 has much more nozzle space than I had on my 831s. So again, every time I'm running across my printer here, I'm laying down more ink in that process to get that amazing print quality. Speed, ink density, temperature is always the formula with HP Latex. So it's the number of passes I'm doing, how hot it gets inside the oven, and how much ink density I'm throwing down. So it definitely, we added a bunch more nozzles in there. There's a whole lot of other technology that went into the 836 to improve them. First of which is the expected life.
Yep.
So the print heads maintain a separate warranty from the printer. So each time I put new print heads in here, it's basically like I'm renewing that warranty of those print head channels. The print heads here for the R530 have a warranty of 1,500 milliliters. I'm sorry, 50, yeah, I quoted that correctly. 1,500 milliliters print head inside here. So, Dave, did we ever definitively answer how many print heads are inside?
No, but I think the answer was 8 or 10. I can't remember.
There's
or
8,
9.
and then there's
8.
8. Because we have white ink, there's 2 print heads dedicated to white. So it's 10 all day. So,
Excellent. All right. Last question, so I can go help.
Independent warranty of 1,500 milliliters.
Last question. I'm going to go help Julie answer some more questions, which is what you guys are actually doing on the machine. Can you explain to people how it registers for doing double-sided printing, please?
Yeah, so essentially the leading edge of the print, I was running these through in a portrait mode here. The leading edge of your print is what registers for double-sided. So I get my nice Grimco 150. Did you know 150 years? It's a big year for Grimco. When I'm getting my leading edge registering, basically I'm working in a turn pattern. So I'm always keeping this same side set up down here so that it registers from front to back going through the machine. The IPS, the internal print server, basically the computer screen here that allows me to nest up my jobs, makes it real easy to see what my workflow is. So I know what direction I need to load the substrate in to get that registration of double-sided printing really well. That's one other thing that comes up talking about double-sided. I hear it a good amount of customers who print double-sided banner. That is one thing that works extraordinarily well on this machine is double-sided banner print. So you're taking a rolled media, printing something on the front side, loading it back inside your machine, and then trying to print the second side. There is no automation to that process. The 300 series had an automatic double-sided printing workflow. Since HP launched the Gen 4 versions, the roll-to-roll printers, the guys behind me here, the 630, the 700, and the 800 series printer, they have not added that automatic double-sided workflow back into the equation. But with the R530, we now have the option to do a really nice option for doing double-sided roll media. Because it is a belt-fed device, it's a very stable load process. I just need to position where my start and stop needs to be. As well as the IPS, it makes the storyboard version of this is my front side, this is my back side really easy for an operator to wrap their head around.
Yeah, and then we should mention too, I mean, obviously there's numbers involved, right? When you're looking at flatbed printing, you're looking at direct print to the substrate. So what is the return on investment? Immediately, if you know how much vinyl that you are applying to substrates, that number is gone, right, out of your equation. All the mistakes that you make in applying vinyl to substrates, that waste is gone. Also, with the ink price, you're at 10.5 cents per milliliter. So your ink price is very competitive. Plus all the labor involved in that whole process, all the time that it takes. You have ink right on substrate. So, but if you still have roll applications, this printer can do both, which is why it's called the all-in-one R530.
Yeah. So you're talking about the dollars and cents of the equation, when it makes sense. HP has made it really easy for us to get to that. Hey, does this printer make sense? They have a system called HP Print OS. It's an online application. You can access it from your smartphone. You can access it from any desktop browser, where it gives me insight into, hey, not only what my machines are printing, but historically exactly what job costs. You can look at all your job history, pull that into a comma-separated value file, bring it into QuickBooks or Excel or whatever people are using to crunch numbers these days, and know exactly where you need to be pricing with your machine. Know exactly the runtime, how often you're using your machine. It really makes it easy to delve in there. PrintOS even has a really cool Learn application to it as well. It's a training program in a box. Yeah. You hire a new operator in your shop before they get hands-on with the machine and dig into it. Park them in front of that computer. Have them complete a bunch of the basic trainings that HP offers through that PrintOS Learn application, and they'll know this machine inside out. Yeah. I can tell quite often when I'm chatting with customers that are current HP latex users, those who have done the HP PrintOS training and those who've just been, I push these buttons and it all works out fine. Hey, you choose your own adventure. If you got one type of job you want to do and this machine will do it for you, it's great all day long. But if you want to really delve deeper, search out those higher value applications you can get done with this machine, going through that training, going through some of that additional hands-on training with things is really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many tools available. Like I have a customer that he works for a nonprofit and he has to cost every single job to specific applications, and the PrintOS system helps him out tremendously with that. Yeah. Neil is also showing you the tables in the background. Again, when we showed the footprint of this printer, it looks much bigger when it's printing with the tables. But now, with the foldable tables up, this really does change the footprint of the machine itself, and also the entry point. We have a lot of customers who would love to flatbed print. They have everything, but they don't have the space. With this printer, not only is space taken care of, with the foldable tables, you have options to kind of maximize your space and efficiency as well.
Yeah, we got spindleless loading for our rolled medias down here. Easy, pop this end cap on. I'm gonna switch over from rigid board printing, switch over to roll printing. I don't know if you guys saw this, there's a movable pin here, so when I'm doing multiple end-ups here with my sheet goods, I can move this in and around to configure to maximize the width of my bed. Maximum printing width of the bed is 64 inches. So simple job to go up here, switch my rolled media over here, set up on my load zone here. There's 3 different vacuum zones for this machine. Turns them on and off automatically. Switch over rolled media. It's going to draw this material into the machine, figure out the width of it. I enter in what substrate it is, then I'm ready to print rolled media. So it's that easy to switch from rigid to roll.
Yeah, and we tried to keep it tight to 30 minutes. I should mention we're hitting that number.
Yeah.
We've been trying to cram a lot at you. Don't worry, we're going to have this available on our YouTube channel soon. So you will get a chance to watch this again. I should mention also, if you would like more information, you would like an individual demo, feel free to reach out to your local Grimco branch, get you in touch with a hardware software specialist. We can set up another personalized demo for you, either in person or at the upcoming trade show, or even virtually. I've done so many virtual demos with Neil. I live in another state. We have all these cameras available. He can flip his screen, show you the software. It's much more than just watching a video.
So one thing I love doing with my job is spending one-on-one time with customers, explaining the features, benefits of the machines, making sure it's the right fit. And like I said at the intro of this presentation, is Grimco wants to help you grow your business. We want to make sure we're pairing you up with the right equipment. It's going to be the solution you're looking for, your improved environment. Additionally, we are hosting a HPR 530 specific class here in Chicago on April 9th. And then Chris had mentioned the trade show. That's the upcoming trade show is the ISA trade show on fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, Mandalay Bay Convention Center. We're going to be at booth 2421, so definitely stop by and check us out at the ISA show. So, Dave, Julie, you got any last questions before we wrap up here?
2 things. One, I think all you attendees, thank you very much. You might have seen a poll pop up. If you could fill that out, it takes less than a minute. It helps the marketing team get some feedback so that we can keep doing these webinars and do them for what you all need and what you want, not necessarily what we think, but what you think, which is most important. And the other thing that we have not discussed yet is price for all you asking. We're not telling that here for a couple of reasons, and Julie, you can pipe in if you want to. But go ahead and please call Grimco at our 800 number and ask for your local HS regional, and he or she will be able to give you the specifics that you need.
Sounds awesome. And guys, again, Grimco.com, the details of this machine are up on our website, so please check that out. But reach out to your local rep. We can get you one-on-one, face-to-face with this machine. Really, really great to go over in those details. So awesome. Dave, Julie, Chris, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I want to thank you all for jumping in this webinar. We love helping customers grow their businesses, and this is one way we love to get engaged. So please let us know what else we can do for you. Thanks for watching.